One of the things that, and I talked to the councilman about this too, black flight, black people moving out of the city, and we looked at these particular neighborhoods. The Navy Yard 20 years ago was 85% black. In 1990, it's now 46% black. H Street, where one of these stores is moving, 1990, 70% black, now 43% black. What's your reaction, Ed? I want to go to you, to those stats.
Yeah, I mean, we know.
Does it matter? I mean,
well, it does matter. We know that there are lots of people who have been in tight-knit communities and lived in the district for a long time, and unless their family bought their house when it was affordable, people can't afford to stay. I mean, we see not only African-American families, but lower-income families with children are moving out. Outside of the highest-income neighborhoods in the city, we've lost children decade after decade after decade, and I think that's because people can't afford to live here. So to the extent that we're concerned about having a diverse community, even having a diverse workforce. I mean, the people at Whole Foods are people who are, even if they're better paid jobs than some other retailers, they're still not going to be high-income jobs. Those people need to live somewhere where they can get access to their jobs. So we need a diverse workforce to be able to live in the city, just so that we can function well as a city.
Clayton, your sense of those numbers?
I mean, look, that's quite honestly, that's a tip of an iceberg that I think socially and economically is very difficult to just sort of stick on a grocery store. I mean, the reasons why people have been leaving the city have been sort of evolving for a while. There was a lot of it, there was a lot of it that happened, quite frankly, by choice 20, 30 years ago, you know, versus what it is now, which is people being sort of pushed out by prices. So it's difficult for me to sort of just equate a Whole Foods to that. But I agree with you on the fact that you've got to have everybody. You can't just make it seem like, oh, well, while us rich people are here, we're going to keep you poor people around to make us feel better about what's happening. I mean, that's not what it's about. The goal is that when everybody buys into a social system that involves each one being able to, again, eat correctly, be educated correctly, and stay around, the entire water level goes up, which is better for society.
Ed, I want to go to you on this. Sort of your crystal ball. Where does this go? What does D.C. look like 5, 10 years from now?
Well, I think Clinton said it, the market forces are strong, right? I mean, we want our city to grow, and we want to create a climate where people want to live here, and we've done a good job at that, right? We're bringing in 1,000 people every month. So that is, by definition, going to create more pressure on housing prices, more pressure on the rents that retailers have to pay, making it harder for lower-end retailers to succeed.
Like Murray's. Yeah.
So it really is only going to work. We can only create that balance is if we as a community and our leaders make a choice. Frankly, I think 8th Street is sort of lost at this point. I mean, it's so gentrified that the ability to preserve affordable housing right there and low-cost retail right there is really going to be a challenge. But there are still plenty of neighborhoods in the city where if we invest in the people to help them get better training or better paid jobs, if we invest in preserving affordable housing so they can stay in their communities, invest in schools, and if we invest in retail, if we find a place like the Murray's that is at 6th and H right now, and give them a little bit of support to be a better anchor in the community so they can succeed and serve their community, that's important too.